Hello world and welcome to the ML show. So, in the first video, I gave an introduction to what machine learning is, and in the second video, we looked at some real-world applications of machine learning and we looked at some of the cutting-edge technology and some of the type of data. In this video, we're going to explore an algorithm, a machine learning algorithm, which is called linear regression. It is a very basic algorithm. It is what most students start with, and it is what you're going to start with. And hopefully, by the end of this video, you get a deeper understanding of linear regression and the kinds of problem machine learning can solve. Let's get to it. Alright, so now we're going to learn about linear regression, which is the most basic machine learning model and what a lot of people start learning with. So let's get into it. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some sample data that I've made. So this is sample data, but we have this data, and it looks like this. So it's house prices in India. So we have so we have prices on our y-axis and size in feet squared on our x-axis, and I've also written down the same data in a table format, right? And so now I'm going to propose a problem here. Our problem is that our friend wants to buy a house of, let's say, 2,350 square feet. Good. Okay. So what our problem here is that what is going to be the price of that house, right? So what we can do is we can use this data that we already have to build a model to solve this problem, right? So let's first look at this graph, right? In this graph we can see that there is a general trend that as the size increases, so we can say as size increases, cost increases, right? So what we can do is we can fit maybe a line, right? So we can say something like this, and we can say, okay, well, let's see, so this is probably 2,350, and we can estimate it will cost about 95 lakhs probably. So what we just did was create a linear regression model. So we took this data that we already have and we created this line, and the mathematical equation for this line is y is equal to wx plus b, and this is the form that all linear regression models take. Okay, so how does this work, right? How are we able to fit this line? So our objective with this is going to be to best represent the data. So what we want to try and do is we want to try and minimize the distance between each of these points. So what we want to do is we want to try and minimize the distance between each of these points, and that's how we come up with this this linear regression model. So when we begin with w and x, so here w is some arbitrary number, that's some integer, so is b. X is what we will call is the sizes of our house, so size, and y is the price. And so in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to treat, so what size is what our input variable is, right, is our input variable, or what we call as our feature variable, and price is our output variable or the target variable. And so essentially when we are training our regression model, the way it will work is we'll get some kind of training data set. And so in this case, this is our training data set, which contains the sizes of the houses as well as the corresponding prices of these houses. And this is our training data set, and we're going to train our model on this data set. We will go more in depth about how the training process is and what exactly happens in the coming videos, but for now just remember that we have this training data set. We will feed that into a learning algo. We'll feed this training data set in the algorithm, and what we'll ask it to do is we'll ask it to find some kind of relationship between the sizes and the price of the houses and create some kind of model which takes this form. Okay, so when this training algorithm is finished, it will spit out some function. Okay, and this function will take this for y is equal to wx plus b. And when we have this function which is trained on this training data, we can feed it data which it has never seen before. So recall that size in this case was a feature or input variable. So in this problem, which is ours, the size that we're given is 2350 square feet. So in this algorithm that we have gotten out of our learning algorithm, we can feed this x. So we can say 2350, and we can feed that into a learning algorithm, and it will output for us price. So we will denote this with y hat. Okay, so recall that what we do is for the sizes, which is the sizes which are already given, for the prices which are already given in our data set, we'll denote that with y. For sizes, we'll denote that with x. And the outcome from our algorithm for data which it has never seen before, we're going to denote that with y hat. And this is essentially what linear regression is. It is going to take a bunch of this data, and it is going to predict some value based on a whole host of features meaning the features variable or the input variables, in this case size, and it will predict some other variable, in this case price, given those feature inputs. And so in this case we want to predict the the prices of the house based on the size, but we can also include other information which will be a more complicated algorithm, such as location, or how old the building is, how tall the building is, any number of things. Now, one question that you may have, and this question will end the video, is that why does it have to be a straight or a linear line? Why can't it be maybe a curved line like this, or like an exponential line, or why can't it be like a line like this? And it can be those kind of lines, but those are even more complicated machine learning algorithms that will come to soon. We will learn about these algorithms soon. And with that, I hope you have a clearer understanding of what linear regression is. And in the next video, we will look at how this training step, how this function is spit out by a learning algorithm. All right, so by now, hopefully, you have a better understanding of what linear regression is, and you kind of have an idea of the kinds of problem machine learning can solve. This is, of course, the surface of what machine learning is aiming to do, and we looked at some of the cutting edge stuff in the previous video. In this video, I kind of touched up on a learning algorithm and a learning process of sorts. And so in the next video, and in the next maybe 2 or 3 videos, we'll look at how this learning algorithm actually takes place. And by the end of these couple of videos, by the end of the next 2 videos or so, you should be able to understand how we actually train an ML model. And the video after that, we will actually implement very simple linear regression model in code, and we'll look at how we can kind of solve this problem, and hopefully you'll be able to implement this by yourself on your machine and tweak with some of the things and understand and play with how this kind of works. All right. One last thing before we end the video, I have a Google form linked below in the description. And if you want to test out the knowledge or your learnings from this video, you can go there and you can fill out the answers, the questions. And once you complete the form, it will give you the answers and you can check your understanding. If you don't understand something, of course, you can come back to the video and rewatch it and hopefully retake the test. And hopefully you found this video interesting. I'll see you in the next one.